Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope everyone's doing good. I hope everyone's doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Of course, guys, before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And please don't forget to smash a like if you guys could do that. Let's get the likes up today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, you absolute legends, because that's what you are, isn't it? Legends, guys. Thank you so much. It's early in the morning, break of dawning. And as we said before, it is breaking dawn. Breaking dawn. Breaking dawn. What is it? The dawn of the dead in regards to Manchester United, because Manchester United are so slow in this market. It is basically like zombies, isn't it? You know, walking towards the right decision. We're actually zombifying our way to the right decision. That's what it is. It's not actually walking, it's zombifying. You know, so Dawn of the Dead. I think I should rename this Dawn of the Dead. And I think we should put like a green little logo instead of a red one. But anyway, thank you everyone for joining me. Now, let's get straight into the news. In all seriousness, Manchester United are scouting a couple of players here and there. Of course, Victor Gyökeres, another one bites the dust. It does look like he's going to Arsenal. Very, very likely he's going to Arsenal, as we said on the show. And as we spoke to Sebastião a couple of weeks ago, yeah, exactly that. He's going to go to Arsenal. He wants Champions League football. Do you blame him? You know what I mean? When we lost that Europa League final, I feel like it was like a nail in the coffin in regards to our transfer window. I mean, I had hope, I had aspirations that it wouldn't be, but it quite obviously is, isn't it? Because obviously Gyökeres is signing for Arsenal because of Champions League football, and that's it. You're not going to win anything, Gyökeres. Let me just tell you that right now. Gyökeres, you have more chance winning something at Man United than actually win something at Arsenal. So let me just tell you that right now, guys. So let's get into it. Man United will be looking for alternative strikers. There are a number of strikers that we have been speaking about over the last few weeks and months, indeed, and especially this community, because this community do speak a lot and do have a knowledge. Of course, unlike other communities, we have the best knowledge on this community, guys. And one of the players is a striker named Angelo Stiller. Angelo Stiller, rumour is that Manchester United have Angelo Stiller high on their priority list when it comes to strikers. Now, this is a bolt out of the blue, of course, guys, because you don't expect Man United to actually be doing a little bit of scouting, actually look around Europe, and you will find a little bit of talent there. But Angelo Stiller is a 24-year-old striker who currently plays for a defensive midfielder who currently plays for VfB Stuttgart. Now, Angelo Stiller can play in various positions. He can play as the defensive midfielder and a central midfielder. He's also been known as to play as the forward. So he is a midfielder. I know he's not a striker. I know Man United need a striker, but it is interesting to see that Man United are looking at the midfield at the moment. They are looking at the midfield as well to reinforce that midfield. I do think Man United need legs in there, but the issue Man United are having at the moment is obviously Casemiro and players like of that ilk that are still at the football club and earning ridiculous amounts of money and are deemed assets to the football club in regards to how much they're getting paid, etc. But a player like Angelo Stiller, I think would be represent a great signing for Man United. And look, you know, people talk about Baleba, people talk about Walton, people are talking about other various players in midfield. But Angelo Stiller's gone under the radar a little bit. He's gone under the radar, and I think he's a very, very good player. I know he's not a striker. I know he's a defensive midfielder. I know he's a midfielder. But you know what? I mean, at this moment in time, I'm looking at Man United's transfer window, and I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? I'll be happy with anyone right now. Honestly, I'm thinking like that. I mean, you know, Arsenal are moaning about Madueke, right? And you know, they're about to get Gyökeres as well. It's okay if you get Madueke, if you're getting the likes of Gyökeres as well, isn't it? You know, at the end, if you're just signing Madueke, then that's different. But you're signing Gyökeres as well, and you got Supermendy. So you know what? A guy like this, Angelo Stiller, Man United have to be smart in this window. We have to be smart. We have to look at players that otherwise no other team would look at. You know what I mean? In regards to not being aware of them. Do you know what I mean? Not that they're not talented, but not being aware of them. Man United used to do that in the past. Let me tell you something about Man United back in the old days, right? We didn't necessarily sign the best players. Guys, there were strikers that signed for Liverpool, for Arsenal, Dennis Bergkamp, remember him? Players like that. Great players that signed for big clubs, right, at the time. And Man United were kind of like, all right, cool, no problem. Yeah, cool, no problem. And we used to find gems. We used to find, like, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We used to find gems and we used to find players. And, you know, what the other teams wouldn't know about, you know? And I think that's a good thing in one way. But we got to act on it. We can't act on it. We can't snooze and lose again. Because now we've lost Osman. We're going to lose your carers. We lost Quenda. There's players out there that we're losing. We're losing every single day, it seems like, And the pool of talent is slowly decreasing. And Man United need to get a step on, guys. So Angela Stiller, defensive midfielder, currently playing for Stuttgart. Contract runs out in 2028. He is valued, though, at 45 billion euros. So he is a little bit on the pricey side. Now, if Man United deal for Mbeumo does fall through, Man United could possibly be making moves like Angelo Stiller and getting players like that. Of course, very talented individual. 4 caps for Germany, central midfielder, defensive midfielder. Very interesting to see, and play that one by ear. As the transfer window goes on, you may hear his name a little bit more. We have mentioned him on the show before, though, guys. Absolutely, we have. Guys, let's read some of your comments. Big up, everyone. Hey, Halby, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you. Good to see you, of course. Big up, Kenny. Big up, Sal. Keep out entertaining us as always. Hope you had a brilliant time in Naples. Thank you so much, Kenny. Big up yourself. Hope you're blessed, my friend. And look, guys, Chelsea won the World Cup Championship yesterday, and there you go, guys. That's what happens. I told you they wouldn't lose. I told you. People saying they're going to get smacked up. I told you football doesn't work like that. You got to analyse football. Football doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Chelsea are one of those teams that just put it out of the bag. And one thing I applaud Chelsea is that Chelsea always manage to do things. Chelsea are now London's biggest club. No one could tell me that Chelsea are not London's biggest club. Of course they are. They're London's biggest club. They've won European trophies, World Club trophies, you name it. Arsenal haven't. Why are Arsenal deemed London's best club? Because I'm thinking about it, and Arsenal haven't won a league since 2004. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking at least Chelsea have gone out and won trophies. And fair play to Chelsea. They absolutely annihilated PSG yesterday. Absolutely fantastic. What a brilliant performance that was. And see, some people were overhyping PSG. I know. I said in the final against Inter Milan that Inter Milan didn't turn up. They did not turn up. Real Madrid are not that team anymore. They're not. They're not the best. This is one of the worst Real Madrid teams in a decade, in my opinion. So when I looked at it, I thought, no, you know what? Chelsea have a chance here. And no one was giving them a chance. And I was thinking, no. Chelsea have a chance here. And you know what? They did. And they did the business. And what Jim Ratcliffe would be celebrating, because he's a Chelsea fan at the end of the day, isn't he? But what they did, proves that you have to spend money. What did they do? They spent money. Last year, they spent money. They spent $1 billion on this team, and they're still spending money on this team. And look, they reap the rewards. They're probably making the money back and more. I don't understand how you can actually have the logic where not spending money is going to bring us success. No one ever achieved anything great by penny pinching. Nobody. Right? Even if you want to build a pizza joint, nobody. You're not going to be successful if you're penny pinching. If you're going to get the worst ingredients, no one's going to come to your restaurant. At the end of the day, you have to spend money. But it seems like we're resting on our laurels. We got Cunha, and that's it. That's all we need. You know what I mean? And this is very, very stressful and worrying for Manchester United. As a Man United fan, huge Man United fan, it is very, very worrying for me. And I always talk about Man United. I always find something to talk about Man United with. Because real Man United fans always find something to talk about Man United with apart from transfers. You know what I mean? Because there's other channels that just talk about transfers, don't know how to talk about anything else. But what I would say is that I would look at Man United's past, and I would talk about Man United's past and what Man United do, what Man United need to aspire to, the shoulders that we're standing on. And right now, I'm incredibly more worried about Man United right now than I have ever been. Let me tell you that. Because Man United came 15th last season, and there's 2 ways we could go, as I said. We can either go up or we can go down, right? And we can fall further into the abyss. Whilst Chelsea are winning trophies and earning money, whilst Liverpool are in the Champions League and earning money, while Arsenal in the Champions League and earning money, and all of them improving their squads, Man United are going to slowly drift away into the distance. We're going to stagnate. That's what's going to happen. And we're going to drift away into the distance if we are not careful. And how do we combat that? How do you combat? Look, it's not impossible to come back. It's not impossible to fight for the top 4. Absolutely not. But you've got to go out there and buy bloody players. Now, what it looks like, we've missed out on Gyökeres. We missed out on Osimhen. We have to go out there and find alternatives. So one of the alternatives for me is Mateta. Mateta was my third choice in regards to strikers this summer. I think Man United should go after Mateta. Man United are interested in Mateta, but it doesn't seem like we're making any moves at the moment until this Mbeumo deal is done. This is the thing. Man United have over 100 players on their wish list. But until this Mbeumo deal was done, they're not going to be moving. They're going to be staying static. And that is what's worrying me, because we've got so much work to do, guys. Do you know what I mean? So much work. And we've got the pre-season, literally in a week's time. We've got a pre-season game, less than a week. What we got? 5 days. 5 days. We've got the game against Leeds United. See how quickly time flies. See how quickly time goes on. You know what I mean? We're playing the first pre-season game against Leeds on the 19th. You know, and where are we? One measly signing in 2 months, guys. It's an absolute shocker, an absolute nightmare. Kenny, as for Gleneos, we were told that they have been planning for the last week. Didn't Barada say after the Hong Kong game that, you know what, we're relaxed, we're going to be we've been working on this for months and stuff like that. It's lies, manipulation. It's lies. That's what they were doing. This is what they've done before they took charge of the football club. They lied to us. They said they're going to take charge. They're going to take the full club in 2026. I don't think that's going to happen somehow. Do you? You know, they're such liars. I mean, I cannot believe how people would believe that, and some people actually believe their nonsense and stuff like that. Look, I'm not saying that this can't be retrieved. As I said before, this window can be retrieved. It can be fixed. But boy, oh boy, they got a lot of work to do. And you know what? It doesn't seem like they're moving at the moment. It seems like they've gone missing. I want to call the Missing Persons Act, because I haven't heard nothing from Ineos or Barada or Wilcox, none of them, because they were very, very vocal. You know, over the season, they were in the camera and everything like that. But as soon as this transfer window has come, I haven't seen any. I haven't seen them. Have you seen them? I haven't seen them. I'll start putting posters up because I haven't seen them, guys. Absolutely. Now, I'm over here in Italy, and the great thing about being in other countries is that you do get to hear about different news in regards to transfers. And one of the transfers that I've been hearing over here is that Manchester United are interested in the young Dutch player Kees Smit. Kees Smit is a central midfielder again, who currently plays for AZ Alkmaar in Holland, guys. So Kees Smit, he is a Dutch under-19 international, worth around 5 million euros, so probably go up to about 10, 15 million euros. Another young player off the block in regards to what Man United are looking at. And the good thing about Kees Smit, he can play central midfielder. He can also play an attacking midfielder, can be versatile in the position that Ruben Amorim wants him to play. Now, look, not many people are mentioning Kees Smit at the moment, but Man United are very deep in regards to Kees Smit. They are very interested in Kees Smit. They admire this player, and it's a kind of player that they want, not only because of the price, it's cheap. You know, he's young as well. You know what I mean? So Kees Smit, another Stretford Post exclusive that Man United are looking at the moment and are trying to inquire about him, talking at the moment, not really going balls deep in regards to approaching the club and everything like that. But Man United are heavily interested in Kees Smit, highly rated, future Dutch international for sure. Already 16 caps for Dutch under-19s international, you know. So a very, very, very interesting one. Can play attacking midfielder, as I said. Can play central midfielder, as I said. Can play in that number 8. Can play in the number 10. So that's interesting there. And names like this, I don't mind. I really don't. He's 19 years old. I don't mind. Because you never know what these type of players could bring. You don't know. But the thing I would say is that you can sign these players like Kees Smit. You can sign him, but you're going to have to buy some experienced ones as well and some proven players as well. So Kees Smit, Stretford Post exclusive, central midfielder, defensive midfielder. Attacking midfielder, a very, very decent player, guys, and versatile. And Man United are, aware of him, and could be you could hear his name spread around the blocks over the next few weeks. Is Kees Smit, and this is the type of signing that Man United absolutely adore because it's cheap as chips. And you know what? He's young. So that is the kind of signing that Man United would be like. If there was a signing, Ineos signing in an encyclopedia, it would be Kees Smit, basically. So Kees Smit, very interesting, guys, player that Man United, a new name off the conveyor belt again, coming to the fore. Thank you, guys. Randall, what's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Morning, Sal. We better start signing players soon or we end up 15th again. Look, Randall, I don't think we'll finish 15th again. I truly believe we won't. I do think at this moment in time, the best that Man United could hope for is about 10th. With this squad, I do think it can do better. I do believe they're better than what they showed. But what I would say is that the way things are at the moment, given the way the other teams in the Premier League are improving every single day, I think Man United are going to, best they can hope for is 10th. So what we got to do is we've got to try and eradicate that. We've got to try and make sure that doesn't happen. And I don't see Ineos doing anything quick enough or urgently enough to do that. We've got a fire in our house, right? Basically. And basically we're trying to put the water, trying to put the fire out with a pint of milk. That's what we're doing at the moment. You know what I mean? And it's not working, quite obviously. EPL team showed that it's quality last night. PSG got thrashed. Now, look, Dabizas, you know what I would say? The English Premier League is a different animal. It's a different level. You know, someone said to me last year that, oh, you know what, PSG would smash up any Premier League. Nah, they don't. They had a couple of good results, yeah, granted, but it was a weak Manchester City team. I think they played Manchester City, didn't they? It was a weak, and Arsenal are bottlers anyway, so we know that. So, you know, we've beaten PSG a couple of times over the last 5-6 years. And we've beaten them in the Parc de France as well, you know what I mean? And at our worst times. And, I think they're a very good team, but also they're a very young team. And they're going to be good next season. Don't worry about that. But the Premier League is a different animal. And I said it. And, you know, when I talk about football heritage, I believe if Chelsea played at PSG last season in the Champions League semi-final, Chelsea would have won. I would have said that. Chelsea probably won the Champions League. And there are certain teams in Europe that will, you know what, they pull it out the bag regardless. They make it happen regardless. And Chelsea proved that yesterday. They absolutely annihilated them. You know, absolutely annihilated them. And they were talking about the best team in the world and stuff. No, and the best team they've ever seen. I mean, people need to just calm down. When it comes to football, just calm down. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I said it yesterday. People say they're going to get smacked up. They're going to do this. I told you guys. I've been watching football a long time, guys. You know, I knew that Chelsea would turn up for this game. I knew they would turn up for this game. The way the manager was talking, the way Chelsea are historically, the way they do things, etc., etc. I knew that Chelsea would win this game. Absolutely, guys. Now, a little bit about Mbeumo. Mbeumo, of course, been linked to Man United for the last 2 months. It seems, guys, almost more or less 2 months, isn't it? Mbeumo, basically, there has been rumours that Mbeumo deal could be done this week. Now, look, you know what? I'm not going to say it as a gospel in regards to, oh, yes, it's going to happen this week. I did say, however, that the deal between Mbeumo and Brentford could be done to coincide with the kit release, Man United's new kit release, the nice black kit that they've got, which I won't be buying, by the way, guys, because I'm not feeding into those Glazers anymore. And you know what? I love the kit as well. It's very disappointing because I would have bought it, to be honest with you, guys. And look, Man United and Mbeumo saga needs to end right now. Man United have taken a long time. They're taking a sweet time in regards to the Mbeumo deal. And we are zombifying our way to this deal. At the end of the day, Dawn of the Dead Part 2. You know what I mean? With Mbeumo. And do you know what I'm saying? It is like basically Shaun of the Dead at the moment, which is obviously Shaun is probably Jim Ratcliffe. Do you know what I mean? And hopefully it is done, and hopefully we can move on from it and move on to the next player that we're going to get, which we need, guys. At the end of the day, you know, what are we doing, guys? We're looking at one brick, right? We're building a house, right? This house needs to be rebuilt, right? And Man United have got one brick, and they're just trying to place the brick nice and neatly on there, using as little cement as possible on the brick, just so we fit that brick nice and calmly in there, not knowing that we need another 50,000 bricks to build this house, guys. Do you know what I mean? And this is what I'm talking about, why Man United are doing business. There are people out there, right, who want to carry on defending this. They want to defend this, and I think it's disingenuous. I think it is. I don't think they have the best interest at heart in the football club at heart. I don't. They're just trying to use defense tactics against Ineos. They want to defend Ineos because they backed Ineos from the start. You know, Ineos now they're undercover. This is like Scooby Doo. They're undercover. Their mask has been uncovered, and people are seeing them for what they really are. And I really would like some of those people who were so adamantly backing Ineos to come out and say, why, you know what, why are you backed him? And I was wrong and stuff like that. That's what I want to see. And it isn't Ineos only, it is the Glazers, but what we have to understand is that the Glazers and Ineos are both in the same sort of category in regards to anyone who aligns themselves with the enemy is an enemy, right? And that's what I would say. In my opinion, you can't align yourself with an enemy and say, look, you know what? At the end of the day, if you're the enemy, like for example, if there's an army, right? There's an army, and basically, let's say the king and the queen are at the back, okay, with the horses, and basically, I'm going to represent the king and the queen as the Glazers, okay? So they're at the back. At the front is the people who represent the king and the queen. So at the front in this instance is Ineos. And basically, this is what it is. Just because they are at the front and they're not the main people in the army, does it mean that I'm not going to smash them up when they come charging towards them? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, is that what they're going to come charging towards me and I'm just going to go, no, I want the Glazers. No, because they're in front of them, defending them, isn't it? At the end of the day, that's what it is. And this is what people, this is what people need to understand, right? They facilitated them. They went to bed with them. And I told it from the beginning that I said they're going to be held accountable for everything they do now. Everything they do, they're going to be held accountable for. And if they do something good, I will praise them for it. If they sign the player, I will praise them for it. I would say, yeah, very good signing, brilliant. Like I did last year when the season ended, when the preseason started. I said, look, they've done all right this window, to be fair, as a first window. But then you need to look at that first window and think, you know what? This was a honeymoon period, wasn't it? So maybe this was just the honeymoon and we're getting no more honeymoons. Do you know what I mean? Big up, Sanjay. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Sanj. Good to see you, Kieran. Big up, Kieran. How you doing, my friend? Kieran, good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Good morning, Sal. Yokere's dream is gone. Yokere's is gone, mate. As I spoke many times, I said that, he's likely to go to Arsenal. I knew he would probably go to Arsenal. Man United have missed the boat on that. Another player that bites the dust. Another player that won't be playing for Man United. Another team that's going to improve. And go further ahead of us. Kenny, fair play to Chelsea, outcast players in every department. They showed their experience last night. Chelsea are a much more, in regards to heritage, bigger club than PSG. Although PSG are run incredibly well, for the resources that they have playing in the French league, they've done incredibly well, PSG, to get where they are, because it's very difficult. And I'll give you an example. It's very difficult for like a team who plays in a league like France, like Liga 1, to accelerate and become, European champions, for example. That's why in the French league, you've only had Marseille, I think, as European champions. So, in the history of France, so it's difficult. And I will bring Scotland in as well. The Scottish teams and stuff like that playing in Scotland. And as soon as they go to Europe, they get smacked up, because they're not got the competitive edge every single week like we have in the Premier League. In the Premier League, there are plenty of good teams. There's plenty of teams, guys. Every single team in that Premier League will probably challenge for the league title in Liga 1 with PSG. Every team in that Premier League. I'm being honest with you. But all right, look, tell a lie. Probably a little bit of an exaggeration. Probably like Ipswich and Southampton and teams like that wouldn't. But when you think about Man United, Newcastle, Everton, Spurs, they were all challenged for that title, in my opinion. Dabizas. I dreamed that Yokeres in a United said I was always telling it was a 5% chance regardless of Europa League or not. Look, if Man United qualified for the Champions League, Man United would have got Yokeres, mate. Yokeres would be playing for Man United right now. Dabizas. It's pretty obvious. There was rumours, of course, as spoken by Fabrizio Romano, another journalist, that, if Manchester United got into the Champions League, they would have been, had Yokeres. Man United, as I said before we played the Europa League final, Man United have two transfer lists. They have the Champions League European transfer list, and they have no European football transfer list. So all those two things, the Champions League one, the European football one is out the window. It's in the bin. And you know what? Now we've got the second fiddle. But this was ideal. And this was mentioned by Ruben Amorim as well. This is clarified by Ruben Amorim. Now, was Ruben Amorim lied to? Because it looks like we don't have that second list. Right now, it looks like we didn't have a plan B. Basically, if we don't qualify for Europe, what is our plan B? Basically, what it looks like now is that we don't have a plan B. We don't have anything. You know what I mean? And we were just going based on the fact that we're going to win the Europa League and we're going to get in the Champions League. That was basically it at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Yokeres, if we did win the Europa League, would have been a Man United player by now. Let me tell you that right now. I know that from very, very strong sources that he would have been a Man United player by now. But he's 27 years old. And he wants to play Champions League football. You can't blame him, to be honest with you. He's coming into the peak of his career. He doesn't want to be in a project. And that's fair enough. So what Man United need to do, they need to go after their other targets that they are interested in and think about other players around Europe, of course. There are great strikers in Europe. It's not just Yokeres. I mean, you can't just use Yokeres as an example. And he's absolutely, Yokeres is a great striker. We're going to miss out on him. He's going to go to Arsenal. Arsenal are going to prove that's just the way cookie crumbles, isn't it, guys? And we have to move on and find another gem. That's what we have to do. There are thousands of strikers around the world that we could possibly look at. You know what I mean? There are some in South America that could be the next superstar. There's some in Japan that could be the next superstar. Go out and look for those players. Go out and scout these players. Find those players, because you know what? I will trust you if you do that. I will trust you. I trust that you research them, just like I did with Kone, just like I did with Aiden Heaven. You know what I mean? I trust you. Go out there and find those players and bring them home at the end of the day. Don't just sit there and think, oh, darn, we missed out on your carriers. We missed out on Osman. Darn, what do we do now? Eh? Wilcox, you know, what do we do? I don't know, mate. What do we do? I don't know. I don't know what to do now. You know what I mean? And that's what we're doing. And we're very tunnel visioned in our scouting at the moment. You know, we're not looking left, we're not looking right. We're like, Mbeumo, we only get Mbeumo, and that is what it is, and that is how it will be. We Mbeumo, and then we go after the next ones after Mbeumo. Bloody, it's not Game of Thrones, for goodness sake. This is bloody one striker we need. We need more than one strike. We need a bloody 10 bloody new players, for goodness sake. And we got one through the door. Guys, madness. Big up Kieran. Are we going for Angelo? Angelo Stiller has been linked to Man United, especially over here in Italy, guys. The great thing, as I said, about being in Italy and when I travel and I see various different alternative news around Manchester United. Like yesterday, there was the news, obviously, about Richard Rios. Now, basically what it said in the news is that Roma are heavily interested in Richard Rios, but face competition from Manchester United. That was what the headline was over here. Now, that could be a technique for Roma, for Palmeiras to put a higher price on Richard Rios. And as we know with Palmeiras last year, that they did put an astronomical price tag on Richard Rios. So that could be that. So I am taking that with a pinch of salt. Maybe they want more money from Roma. But what are Man United doing? What are Man United doing? What are they doing? He's a £25 million player. Go and get him. Go and get the guy. Start buying some bloody players. Buy some players. For goodness sake, buy some players. Don't you think it's incredible how these guys are just gone miraculously missing? You're not hearing from them. They're not speaking to the fans. Because that would be fine. But last year, they were so vocal. They were so confident. They're talking about how we planned this for months. We're relaxed. We're calm. What's going on there then? What happened there, guys? You know, I mean, and I'm absolutely, you know what, really, really disillusioned by everything what's going on at the moment. Ephraim, Sal, did you know that we are negotiating with Mbeumo? Arsenal signed 5 players. Arsenal are going to be much better than us next season again at this rate, isn't it? It looks like without Europe wasn't a blessing in disguise. People were telling us, oh, not qualifying for Europe was a blessing in disguise. You remember what I said, Kenny? Do you remember what I said in that time? No, it is no. Do not use that. I said it at that time. Do not use a blessing in disguise. That's Glazonomics for you. No, Man United need to qualify for Europe. And lo and behold, here we are. This is why we need to qualify for Europe. And those people who said, oh, it's a blessing in disguise, we can just concentrate on the league and da-da-da-da. No, it isn't. Because now Ineos have got an excuse. Now Ineos can turn around and say, well, you know what? We're not in Europe and FFP and PSR, blah, blah, blah. They can use that as an excuse now. You know what I mean? I'm sure that Jim Ratcliffe was there in his blue shirt last night, celebrating Chelsea's win, you know, because he is a Chelsea fan at the end of the day. You cannot tell me otherwise. There's no evidence that he's a Man United fan apart from being born in Manchester. Do you know what I mean? And that is it at the end of the day. And that's his only claim to being a Man United fan, being born in Manchester at the end of the day. So I was born in London, so I must be an Arsenal Chelsea fan, isn't it, really? It's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? So, look, you know what? Qualifying for Europe was very important for Man United. Extremely important. Oh, you know what? It might be a blessing in disguise. The Glazers might leave. Da, 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 da. You know, these sort of things. Like, remember, Kenny? We get relegated, the Glazers will leave. What a silly, uneducated, misinformed bit of information that was. You know, we get relegated, the Glazers going to leave. They're not going to leave. And as I said, even if Man United get relegated, they will stay. And I tell you why. They want the regeneration project. In fact, it might even help them if they get relegated, Man United. Because, let me tell you this, hear me out. Because at the end of the day, they won't need to sign world-class players into Championship, right? And Man United will still sell out season tickets. Man United will still sell out merchandise. Yeah, Man United will lose out on revenue, but the TV channels would want to follow Man United's task in the lower division. They would still want to, you know, show Man United live on TV. There will still be money involved. Yes, Man United might lose some Premier League money, but Man United will recoup that by selling their best players. That's what they would do. So they will recoup that. So Man United getting relegated is an absolute no-no. even though we won't get relegated. There was that talk last week, if we get relegated, I think Man United need to get relegated. That's what Man United need to do. They need to get relegated. It's ridiculous. It's misinformed nonsense. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, getting relegated won't help us at all. It's only going to help more the Glazers. You know what I mean? And that's what's going to happen, because they will still get their regeneration project. They will still get money through the door, because we'll still buy season tickets. We'll still buy merchandise, shirts, etc. And that's exactly what I'm saying about it. These guys don't care about the football. They don't even know what division we're in. They only look at the numbers. They only look at the money. That's all they care about at the end of the day, Big up MEC here forever. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're blessed. Hope you're good. He's an absolute beast, Angelo Sturt. Absolutely. Would love him at Manchester United. Absolutely, Ephraim. Wasn't Real Madrid linked to Stinner? Yes, they were. They're going to be. Dabizas. Yes. Timo. Good morning, or have a good day. Big up, Timo. Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, mate. Hope you're blessed. Having a good Monday. It is Monday morning, of course. A new week, a new dawn, a new day, a new light. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And hopefully something good happens this week. We're getting in Mbeumo this week. I hope so. Santalero, hope you're good. Thank you so much. Fingers crossed we get it done. We get it over the line. I hope that my analogy is correct, that we're going to release Mbeumo. We're going to sign Mbeumo when the kit is released, hopefully. That would be a big PR thing for Ineos, isn't it? And sell some shirts. I do believe, however, that they've really drained the life out of this deal. People have lost all enthusiasm. All the excitement that happened on the 2nd of June when it was exposed that Mbeumo wants to play for Man United, etc., has gone. It's gone. We've lost that enthusiasm. Now it's just like, you know what? Just get it done, for goodness sake. We're dragging us through the trenches here. Get it done. We're going against the grain now, guys. That is what's going on, man. Absolutely. Big up, Santalero. The Glazers at Ineos will make us Brighton, Southampton, who have no money. This is what they want to do. And this is what we have to be very wary of, is that, there would be, I wouldn't be surprised if that Ineos want to turn us into Everton, want to turn us into Southampton, so that they can spend less, right? Make money at Man United, spend less. Man United will always organically, make money. They will always make money, because we will always sell 80,000 seats at Old Trafford. We will always sell the merchandise. We'll always buy the tickets. That is what's going to happen. That always happens at Man United, because Man United love their football club. The fans love the football club, and they want to see Man United. Unfortunately, guys, for us and for everyone else and for all the Man United fan base around the world, that is not going to help Man United. We have to think about the greater good, the bigger picture here. What will it take for Ineos to suffer? What will it take for the Glazers to suffer? What do we need to do? And something that we haven't done before. Let me tell you what it is. It's emptying the stadium, making sure the games don't go ahead. The game against Liverpool, the game that was cancelled, the only time that the Glazers have ever made a Skype call was when we cancelled the game against Liverpool. Now, imagine we've done that week in, week out. Imagine fans scanned in with their season tickets and walked out straight away, so that the stadium doesn't fill up. But they're still registered in the ground, but the stadium doesn't fill up. It's not so much about them having a season ticket. You can keep your season ticket. The thing is looking at an empty stadium on the opening day against Arsenal. An empty stadium. Imagine the sponsors. Imagine what the sponsors would be thinking. My goodness me, being associated with Man United, this is really toxic. You know what I mean? This is what I mean. The sponsors will look at that, and around the world, Man United versus Arsenal, 20,000 capacity for the 76,000 stadium. You know what I mean? It's a blessing that needs to happen. It's something that we haven't done. Unfortunately, I honestly think that protests are nice. They're nice, but they don't work. They're not aggressive enough. They're not aggressive enough. Inter Milan, AC Milan, Real Madrid, Barcelona would not be doing this little protests here and there. They would be far more than protests, guys. They would be doing far more aggressive things. As I said, there was a game with, I think it was Inter Milan or AC Milan, and the board of owners of AC Milan, they had to go onto the pitch and answer to the ultras in the ground at full time. When the game was empty, and at full time, the owners and the directors had to go on the pitch and answer questions from the ultras. Now, imagine that happened at Old Trafford. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, we need to turn the tide. We need to understand who we are, what they're dealing with here. You know what I mean? They've got they basically got Man United's history in one hand, right? And they're playing juggling with it. Hey, we're juggling. Look. And fire in the mouth and everything like that. You know what I mean? We're juggling. Look, hey. No, but that's what they're doing, Man United's history. Man United's great history, Man United's legacy. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing. They're standing on the shoulders of our greats. That's what they're doing with their dirty feet. You know, that's what they're doing at the moment, and it's disgraceful, and it shouldn't happen, guys, because you know what? They don't love this football club. The Glazers don't love this football club. Jim Ratcliffe don't love this football club. It's pretty evident that Jim Ratcliffe doesn't love this football club. Jim Ratcliffe is 77 years old. He's older than me. He's older than most people in this stream, probably everyone in this stream. He's seen more than everyone, apparently, in regards to Man United, right? He's seen everything. He's seen us get relegated. He must have seen us in the 60s when the European Cup. He's seen everything, right? He must have done. He must know everything about Manchester United. Boy, oh boy, he's not coming across that way. And as I predicted, he's lying. Because I said, before he said this, born and bred, Manchester, fan, my whole life, that's what he basically said, isn't it? I asked the question then, so where's the pictures of him ever being a Man United fan? Where's images of him at Old Trafford before the Man United went on the stock exchange, Man United was available? You know what I mean? When did that ever happen? You wouldn't see it. There's no pictures. There's nothing out there, is there, at the end of the day? Sam Gaven, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. What is going with Mbeumo deal? Hopefully, mate, Sammy, it will be done very soon, mate. That's all I can say to you at the moment. What Ineos are doing, Ineos are taking it through the mud, and they're taking their time. Hopefully this week we get something. For me, this is a pivotal week in our season. Man United are going to America in 5 days, few days actually, and hopefully Mbeumo can join them afterwards. I really hope so, and he can play some part in the friendlies. Dan, what's going on? We don't have money to buy players. Why bother looking for a player? Dan, let me tell you something, Dan. Let me tell you something. We don't have money. Man United have money, mate. Don't fall for that trick. Don't be immature and don't be misinformed, because that is misinformed. Man United have money. They just don't want to spend money, mate. Man United have money. Don't be manipulated, mate. Do not be manipulated. It's not a Disney cartoon. Don't be manipulated, right? Man United have money. Right? Just like last year when, you know what, we didn't have money to sack Erik ten Hag, but we miraculously found the money to sack Ten Hag. We didn't have money to get Ruben Amorim, but we miraculously got the money to get Ruben Amorim. Right? Jim Ratcliffe was going to buy Chelsea for $5 billion. He put $1 billion in Man United. Where's the other $4 billion gone? Don't fall for their little Glazeronomics. They rejected $100 million for Bruno. I don't want to hear nothing about they've got no money. You know? They have. They've got money. Don't fall for that. Don't be dumb-dumb. Don't be dumb-dumb. Don't just think. That's what I say, because they want you to think like that, Dan. They want you to think they've got no money, so they don't spend money. You know what I mean? Ephraim, we cannot be successful with the owners and want to balance the books only. You can be successful so you can't be successful without spending, absolutely. You can't. Big up, LB, my friend. Hope you're well. I still can't see us getting top 12. I think we will. I remember this one. Remember, like everyone was telling me yesterday that Chelsea are not going to beat PSG. Who said it? I did. I said Chelsea are going to beat PSG. Oh well. John, do you think we will sign a striker? I think not. I think we will, but probably won't be the striker you want. Some people think this is where you can get top 5. This players' mentality is there's no. If Man United go into the season right now, Ephraim, with this team, Man United not doing nothing next season. Right now, even with Cunha, we might improve. I think we'll improve. We'll probably come top 10, top 15, top 10. Top 10. I'm going to say top 10. But without the signings in, I don't expect anything from this team. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can't turn rubbish players into great players overnight. One season. You know, they're in the peak of their careers. They are what they are. They're not going to improve. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Jamie, what's going on, my friend? I'll be doing well. What's everyone expecting this week? So we are optimistic. Hopefully, Jamie, good to see you, mate. Hopefully you're blessed. Hopefully we get some good news. I'm fine with a top 8 finish. I'm not fine with that, Dabizas. I'm not fine with that. Don't say that. I'm not fine with a top 8 finish. Don't say that, mate. That's what Glazers want you to say. They want you to say that. I'm fine with a top 8 finish. No, we're Manchester United. We're not fine with a top 8 finish. That's scandalous. We're not fine with that. That's not fine. I'm not happy with a top 8 finish. Mate, this is Manchester United. I don't care if it's realistic or not. I don't care if we're delusional or not. We should not be saying, I'm fine with a top 8. I'm not fine with a top 8 finish. I'm not fine. You know what I mean? I want Man United to challenge. You know, that's what I want. And we should aim high. I've always said it. Aim for the stars, you fall on the moon. Aim for the moon, you fall in the clouds. Aim for the clouds, you fall in the mud. You want to fall in the mud? Aim high. Put Make them accountable. Because you know what? The less expectations we have, the better for Ineos, the better for the Glazers. Let me tell you that right now. They will love it if we have less expectations, because then they don't need to spend money, because they only need to come eighth. Don't say that. You think Real Madrid will say that? Barcelona, Bayern Munich? You think they will say that? Come on, man. Not happy with a top 8 build. Morning, Devils. Morning, Mark. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. New kit's out this week, so club announced Mbeumo probably. Hopefully, my friend. Hopefully, absolutely. This time, Miss Man United is not talking about signing a new striker. Why? Big up Akira Jar. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. You know what? One thing we're saying, Akira, is that, the biggest disrespect about Man United at the moment is the lack of communication between the ownership and the fans, and what's going on in a nutshell. I'm hearing bits and bobs, like little bits of news here and there being leaked here and there, but nothing like, wow, we're going to sign this player. This is disgraceful. I'm not saying that it won't happen. They might be keeping their cards close to their chest and not saying anything. But they better be working on the striker, guys, because I say this: if Man United go into next season with probably one or two signings, people should boycott the club. Boycott it. Don't go to the games. Boycott it. Boycott, because you know what, they're taking the piss. I don't even read into any deals anymore. I don't think they will get anyone. These broke stickers spoils us with a possible deal. Big up, Mark. Jamie, got it. The big. They will. Big up, Jamie, my friend. Big up. Mbeumo. Mbeumo transfer excitement is gone with this bullshit. Yeah, the enthusiasm and everything like that has gone draining out of us now. We have no interest in Mbeumo at the moment. You know what I mean? We just want to get it done and that's it, and move on to the next one. Do you know what I mean? At the guys. The Glazers must really fuck off. They will never be able to fix the mess. Ineos must buy out the club and invest. If this is not their plan, they must fuck off too. Let Qatar have the club. Absolutely, Mark. Spot on, mate. Jelani, big up Sal and Mbeumo time. Come on, Jelani. We hope so, mate. We really do. Jamie, another player this club will parade like a prized asset. Yeah, it's what they'll do. It's what they'll do to sell their shirt, mate. That's what they're going to do. I told you, the promotional video, the PR video and stuff like that. You're going to see it, guys. You're going to see that PR video with the new shirt and stuff like that. And you know what? Don't fall for it. They need to move on and get the next player now. We need a striker. We need a midfielder. We need a goalkeeper. We need a wing back at least. You know what I mean? Richard Rios after, big up Jalani. He's looking like Roma at the moment. Roma are the ones who are really, really interested in that deal. They're really pushing for the Richard Rios deal. Man United are falling behind. These players, let me tell you, these players are not going to wait for Man United. Man United are not Real Madrid at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Man United are not, Bayern Munich or a team like that. Man United are where we are at the moment. We have no leverage in regards to, dragging out transfers and telling the player to wait for us. Why would they wait for Man United? And I just want to say that. Why would anyone wait to sign for Man United right now? Well, because history and heritage, they don't care about that, these players these days. They don't. A lot of these players were too young to remember when Man United won a treble. How old was Richard Rios in 1999? No age, because he weren't born. You know what I mean? These players don't care. They're like, okay, you know what? I'll go to Roma because they're not really after me. They don't really want me because they're not really going after me and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? We ain't getting Rios. Big up, Jamie. I miss Ole Bull. Oh, my Jalani, please, mate. Don't say that, mate. Don't say that. He brought us back years. Absolutely. Big up, Jamie. Jalani, that was just a counter-attacking football, individual performance football, buddy. Absolutely, mate. Kenny, you know that. It set us back years. It really did. We came second, but, it was absolutely ridiculous, the football we were playing, counter-attacking football. Ever since Alex Ferguson left, we haven't had a direction. We haven't gone into the right direction. We've always had this type of manager. We had the Louis van Gaal, we've had the Jose Mourinho, we've had the nostalgic Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we've had the professor in regards to, obviously, Ralph Ragnick. We've had Erik ten Hag, the up-and-coming manager, and now we've got the tactical genius in regards to Ruben Amorim and the hipster-type manager now. Like, every single manager that comes into this football club is not going to succeed with the ownership model that is there right now. You know what I mean? Especially now with Ineos in charge as well and too many chefs in the kitchen. That's what we have to understand. And one thing I urge Man United fans, and I say, please don't turn against this manager. Don't turn against this manager, because you know what, we have to look at the context, guys. We have to look at what's going on in this window. We have to look at the context of what Ineos have done. You know, what have they fed Ruben Amorim this summer? What have they done to back him? Tell me. Since last January when we walked into the football club, what have they done to back Ruben Amorim? Really, truly, you know? Ephraim, big up Ephraim. Sal, if they do not want to invest, why do they tell us that they do not invest? I mean, at the end of the day, look, if they didn't want to invest, Ephraim, why did they take 27% of the football club? That's what I would say. This is why I think it's insanity and counterproductive to join the football club on a 27% vanity project and not invest in the manager that they chose, which was Ruben Amorim. It just seems really stupid and incompetent, doesn't it? You know, so why would they even bother? So then I thought to myself, and I thought, you know what, maybe it's because they want that regeneration project. And I don't want to think like that. I don't want to think in a sinister way that maybe it's because they want the regeneration project. Maybe it's because they want that land in Manchester and they want to build the hotels and they want to build a new stadium and they feel like they can make billions. They're so greedy, you know, at the end of the day. And I mean, I'm looking at this window and we don't look like a team that finished 15th last season. We're acting like Liverpool, right? Let me tell you, we're acting like Liverpool. I'll tell you why. We're acting like Liverpool in this transfer market because we're acting like we're already the champions. Liverpool are acting like they came 15th and they need to fix their squad quick. That's what they're acting like. Arsenal, the same. Chelsea, the same. They're doing the same thing. They're acting quickly because they know that they came 15th last season. They can't let that happen again. And it did happen to Chelsea. Don't forget that. It did happen to Chelsea. Chelsea did finish in the second half of the table. Remember that? You know what I mean? Then they went out and just went absolutely mad and spent the money and made sure that it never happened again. Jamie, this club sees Cunha and Mbeumo as their golden gooses next season. Two players will save it. What I would say, Jamie, and I would say like this, in regards to football, I've watched football a long time, Jamie, my friend. And what I would say is that, yes, football can, change in an instant, right? And in regards to Mbeumo and Cunha, it will make a big difference. It will make a big difference. Of course it will. But it won't make a Champions League difference. It will make a 7th, 6th, 7th difference, 8th, 9th, 10th difference around there. You need more players. If Man United get a striker, and they've been Mbeumo and Cunha, football don't deal with absolutes. And I've learned this a long time ago, just like when people were predicting that Chelsea are going to get smacked up yesterday. You know, football don't deal with absolutes, right? So what I would say is that if Man United sign in Mbeumo, if they get Cunha, and they get a capable striker, I think Man United could bomb up that league. And I'll tell you why. Because, you know, it takes a spark. It takes a spark to ignite something. You know what I mean? I think that if we can fix our attacking part of our game, I think that will move Man United up significantly. But we must improve the attacking side of the game. If you look at the biggest problem at Man United over the last 2 seasons, it has been scoring goals. You know? So if we can fix that part of our game and score goals, I think we'll be much, much better off. Where we finish, who knows? It depends on Ineos, how serious they are with this. Do you know what I mean? And at the moment, they're not looking very serious. Not having the Ollie Ball talk, still, so I'm not having it. No, I'm not having Ollie Ball, mate. I'm not having Ollie Ball. No. I've been a Man United fan since the late 80s, guys, and the football was absolutely ridiculous. I don't care if he came second. We won nothing. Spent a lot of money too, didn't he? You know what I mean? I don't want to hear it. I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will forever be a legend. Forever be a legend. But at the end of the day, nah, mate. That was just a stopgap and we made the wrong decision. And I'll tell you one thing, guys, and not just about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? Not just about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I want to give you an example. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer walked into Manchester United, we went on a record-winning run. I know it's COVID season. Let's not forget it was COVID season. So when the fans weren't in the stadium, right, there was little pressure on them, you know, because that shows how weak that team is. You know what I mean? But as soon as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signed his contract and became a permanent manager at Man United, they lose to Everton 4-1. Wasn't it? 4-0? They start losing games and stuff like that. That shows you the mentality of this football club. That shows you the culture of this football club. As soon as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signed that contract, they down-tooled. We've got it. That's it. And that's basically what they did. They down-tooled. So I made the mistake, right? Back them days. And this is why I would never blame a manager. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't the right guy. That's absolutely true, right? But what I would say is that I made the mistake on blaming Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I was wrong in that. And from that day, I said, I'm never going to blame another manager until these Glazers are gone. Until this ownership is gone. Because you know what? Every manager that walks into this football club is going to be fighting against the grain. It's going to be coming from the bottom of the sea. You know, that's what's going to happen. And, you know, I said that back then. Whether they're good enough or not good enough, I'm not going to blame the manager. And right here, right now, is the evidence of that. Is the evidence that they're not backing him to the heel and back. Minimum, Man United should have at least 3 players in by now. Minimum. Right? And we only got 1. You know, and we're going to be looking at that team next season. Look, listen. Look. I would much rather play the youth team next season than play those bunch of failures and bottlers. If we're good, I'd much rather do that. I'd much rather play Chido Obi Martin. You know, I'd much rather play these players, Mantata. You know, than keep playing the same rubbish that I've been flattened to see for ages. Of course. I mean, imagine it, Jamie. Ollie Ball talk in 2025, mate. You know, it's over. Go over it. You know what I mean? Do Ineos realise that the signing Osimhen at 400k will get us in the Champions League? John? They don't think about that. They're thinking very short term, isn't it? John? They're thinking short term. They're not thinking that if we back this team... Listen, and this isn't any ordinary Champions League. You get 100 million for qualifying for this Champions League, plus incentives and extras. Then you have a chance to get into the World Cup Championship. Chelsea have made 100 million from the World Cup Championship. They've made 200 million from the Champions League and the World Cup Championship. There you go. You know what I mean? They don't want to think about it. They want to think short term. They want to think, oh, you know what? We just want to get this regeneration project going. We don't really want to spend money on Man United. If we can drag it out for another few years and get the regeneration project going, we'll be good. Because that's what I believe they're doing. This is how I feel. This is how I feel what they're doing at the moment. This is what I think they're doing at the moment. I think they're just concentrating on this regeneration project, of course. Jamie, all the people that said losing Europe will benefit us look dumb as fuck. I mean, absolutely, Jamie. I think anyone who said that, anyone who hopes that Man United lose for a thing, basically believing that, you know, a fairy tale that everything will be better if Man United are not in Europe, it's ridiculous. It's silly. And you know who you are. You did it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know who you are. You know who you are. You said that we lose the final, it's better because Man United could concentrate on one game at a time. No European football. Guys, this is not 1995. Teams will drag further away from us. They will get more money and they will drag further away from us. No one wants to sign for Man United because they want to play in the Champions League. Your Precarious doesn't want to play for Man United in a project at 27 years old. He wants to play in the Champions League. That's what it is. Ciao, good morning. Everyone laughed at Chelsea, spent $1 billion in 2 years now. No one laughed at Chelsea now. Spending money, you have to spend money for success. Sancho missed out on the Club World Championship. Yeah, he would have got that. He don't care about success though, Sancho. Big up Sadie Tex. He doesn't care about that. He only cares about, you know, playing games and earning money. Big Bang Theory FC. Big up Kenny. We might as well have Big Bang Theory playing for us. Smash the likes and subscribe. Thank you so much, Ephraim. You legend. Big up yourself. Hope you're well. Should have won the Europa League. Disgusting players buried us. I mean, and what it is, Jamie, not only the players, the board as well, because I said last January that, you know what, Man United will play Tottenham in the final, Man United will see the goal, and Man United will lose 1-0. Lo and behold, it happened. I'm not Mystic Meg. I'm not David Blaine. But you know what? We predicted it all the way back then in January that this could possibly happen because they haven't backed Ruben Amorim in this transfer market. They haven't bought him a striker, which he needed. They needed a prolific striker. That's what Ruben Amorim needed last season, and they didn't give him it. And now, then people say, no, look, calm down. In the summer, he's going to be back. We're waiting. Ineos FC. We're waiting, guys. What's going on? You know what I mean? Let's hope. We'll just hope. Nuts, what's going on, my friend? I'll be doing well. Latest news from Norway. United was in Bergen to watch centre-back Even Helen, 20 years old yesterday. Guys, We don't need a defender. We need a striker, for goodness sake. Look, I love these type of players. I come from the generation of Ronnie Johnson and Hennenberg and these type of players, right? I like that. Nut. Big up, Nut, by the way. Thank you so much for joining me. The thing is that I wouldn't mind signings like this. I wouldn't mind, obviously, Elvin Haaland or Irvin Haaland, whatever it is. I would much rather Erling Haaland than Irvin Haaland, guys. Because at the end of the day, it's like a wish Erling Haaland, isn't it? You know what I mean? We need a striker. That's what Man United need. I haven't heard anything about Irvin Haaland. I haven't heard anything. I'll be honest with you guys. I haven't heard nothing about that, but I will do my research. But Erling Haaland is the type of player we need, not Elvin Haaland. Definitely. Absolutely not. Miles, big up. Speaking of Italy, AC Milan are my second favourite team in Manchester United, number one. Always God bless you, always Sal. Good man. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much, Miles. And thank you for joining me. As usual, you absolute legend. Thank you. Jamie, people actually thought players would come without UEFA Champions League because of the pool. We have we don't have a pool, mate. It's not only that, Jamie. We don't want to spend money. We don't want to spend money. It's not only that we don't want to spend money. You might not be able to have the pool, but have the money. Chelsea have done that. They pulled people with money. That's what you have to do. You know what I mean? But we don't want to spend money, and we're in the road to nowhere, isn't it? And Mbeumo decided to join that Champions League, so totally admirable. I also asked you, Dabizas, who else is after Mbeumo apart from Tottenham? No one really, isn't it? Our pool lasted as long as an elastic band and snapped. Stretch Armstrong. They thought we had a pool of Stretch Armstrong, but we actually had a pool of a little elastic band. When you pull it, yeah, there you go. Big up. FM, some people think that not in the Champions League will make players prepare for one way they're the same players that finished 15th. I don't believe this. Let me tell you something about a guy who witnessed the treble. I saw the treble, guys. I've seen doubles. I've seen Champions League and League doubles. I've seen trebles. I was there. I was old enough to remember it. I was a teenager. Do you know what I mean? What I would tell you this. Just because you're not playing in the Champions League or Europa League doesn't mean you're going to be better. You can actually use the Champions League, success in the Champions League, as momentum for the league. You know that? You can use it as momentum. It can actually create a sort of like, how do you say it? Like a sort of camaraderie between the team and you know what, and this confidence that you'll gain from winning big games. Like if you beat Real Madrid or you beat Arsenal or you beat Barcelona, it gives you this incentive. You know what I mean? To go on. This thing where only one game a week. I mean we're Man United, for goodness sake. Well, one game a week. Oh great, one game a week. I'm not interested in them getting more rest. They don't deserve rest. They don't. They don't deserve rest. They came 15th last season. They flopped the Europa League final. The Europa League was the worst defeat I've seen as a Man United fan. Right? I've been a Man United fan since the late 80s. And the Europa League final defeat was the worst defeat I've had as a Man United fan. It was a total spit in my face. And it was a spit in the face of every single Man United fan out there. It was a disgraceful performance. After all the build-up, all the PR, they pull in that performance. You can lose games. Absolutely, you can lose games, right? But you want to see an effort. You want to see that, oh my goodness, we were unlucky. We hit the post. We hit the crossbar. We didn't though, did we? We played like it was a pre-season friendly. We went 1-0 down, and that was it. Thank you so much, King Jam. Big up yourself. Thank you so much, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Good to see you. Ekatike is also an option, but expensive, very expensive, mate. We just need to find players who are hungry. Absolutely. A riot, which I'm going to start because I live 5 minutes away from this. Big up, Jamie, my friend. I think a lot more needs to happen, of course. Don't say it on air, Jamie. Don't expose yourself. You know what I mean? And Man United lacks direction in this transfer window. I agree with that, Alicia. They've been lacking direction since 2013 when Alex Ferguson left. They've lacked direction. Even with the choices of manager. You know what I mean? If you're local, join me. Big up, everyone. Big up, my friend, Jamie. Dallas Cowboys of England, we have become a brand fucked up now with the ego. Big up, Mickey Bauer. Absolutely, I agree. Bullshit, I saw more of this club than him when I was an infant. Absolutely, he's a liar. Absolutely, I agree with that. We have money, I've been told. We do have money, mate. We do have money. That lie that we got no money, we're broke. Don't fall in for the narrative, guys. I'm telling you, don't fall for their tricks, the manipulation, the sackings of the staff. That's just a manipulation tactic. Let me tell you that right now. They are lying to you. That's what billionaires do. They manipulate. They lie. That's why they're billionaires. Now there's two types of billionaires. There's a guitar billionaire, and then there's a Jim Ratcliffe billionaire. You got the guitar billionaire who invests, who spend money, they've got loads of money already, don't worship money. They don't. Then you got the billionaire like Jim Ratcliffe. His only reason he's rich is because he worships money and he penny pinches. And he does people over. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me today. You absolute legends. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And also, please don't forget to smash a like on the video if you guys can do that for me. And also, don't forget to put your notifications on in case I go live, in case the miraculous happens and Man United manage to sign a player, guys. So I want to thank everyone for joining me, absolute diamonds. And guys, please don't forget to smash a like on the video as well. Very important that we smash a like on the video. Very important that we get the likes up, of course, guys. It's very important, guys. We got how many? Stephanie, big up Stephanie. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. How many we got? 47 likes. Can we get up to more likes, guys? Can we get up to more likes? Very important we get to more likes, guys. That's what it's all about at the end of the day, guys. Guys, thank you for joining me. Have a great day, night, evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm going to find out some news, guys. I'm in Italy. I might as well make the most of it. I might ring up Dimarzio or Fabrizio Romano. Should I do that? Guys, have a great day, night, morning, evening, wherever you are, and enjoy yourself and try not to stress too much. Take it easy. Peace.